All right, let's get right into it. You know, we always hear that $1 million is the magic number, right? The ultimate goal for being wealthy. But what if I told you the real game changer, the number that completely flips your entire relationship with money, is actually a whole lot smaller? Today, we're going to break down why hitting your very first $20,000 in savings is the milestone that truly changes everything.
So have you ever felt like building wealth is just this exhausting, impossible uphill climb? Like you're putting in all this effort and getting almost nowhere? Yeah, you are not alone. That initial push feels brutal, and it's so easy to just throw your hands up and wonder if it's even worth it. But there is a very specific point where all that struggle suddenly stops and a whole new dynamic kicks in.
And that point is $20,000. Now, this is not just some random number I pulled out of a hat. This is the first major financial line in the sand. It's what separates the people who are going to build real, lasting wealth from those who might just get stuck in that paycheck-to-paycheck cycle forever. This is where the rules of the game just completely change.
I want you to think of it like this. You're pushing a massive boulder up a super steep hill. Every single step is a strain, a total grind. That's you on your journey to that first $20,000. But once you hit that peak, that boulder starts rolling down the other side, and it starts picking up speed all on its own. Suddenly, it feels like gravity is finally on your side for a change.
But the biggest change here isn't even about the math. It's what happens inside your head. It's psychological. Reaching this milestone actually triggers a fundamental shift in your brain, moving you out of a pure survival mindset and into the mindset of an investor.
So here we have a tale of two mindsets, the two internal voices that pretty much dictate your financial life. When you're in survival mode, your brain is just consumed by fear. It's constantly asking, how do I make it to the next paycheck? But with a $20,000 cushion, your brain finally gets the breathing room it needs to switch into investor mode. And it starts asking a much more powerful question. Okay, how can I make this money grow?
Now, this isn't just a feeling. There's real data to back this up. Research from Vanguard shows that having just $2,000 in savings boosts your financial well-being by 21%. Now, push that to a full emergency fund, which for a lot of people is right around that $20,000 mark, and you get another 13% boost. This isn't just about the numbers. It's about creating the mental space you absolutely need to start thinking about growth instead of just getting by.
So once that mental shift happens, it gets supercharged by some really powerful math. Let's talk about the magic of compounding, because this is the real reason why the journey gets so much easier after you get over that first big hump. Check out this timeline. Let's just say you're saving $1,000 a month. Getting to your first $20,000, that takes about 19 months of pure discipline and sacrifice. It's tough, but look what happens next. Your second $20,000 only takes 17 months. Why the difference? Because that first 20 grand is now your little employee, working right alongside you, earning its own money.
And this acceleration, it just gets almost ridiculous over time. I mean, once you hit, say, $400,000 in your portfolio, the next $20,000 can be generated in just 5 months from your investments alone. That same amount that took you nearly 2 years of grinding to save at the very beginning now just happens automatically in the background. It's incredible.
Okay, so beyond the math, this financial foundation gives you something that's honestly priceless: confidence. And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's a practical, real-world superpower that can dramatically change your career and how you make big life decisions. This idea of walking away money is a total game changer. When you know deep down that you're not dependent on your next paycheck just to survive, you're no longer a prisoner to your job. You can start negotiating your career from a place of strength, not desperation. You actually have the power to walk away from a toxic job, a terrible boss, or just an unfair situation. That's real freedom. And it creates this amazing positive feedback loop. See, just having those savings changes your entire demeanor. You carry yourself differently, you're more confident, maybe more assertive at work. You can walk into a performance review with your boss with a totally different kind of energy, because you know your survival doesn't hinge on it. And guess what? People notice that confidence. This often leads to better projects, more recognition, and more money, which just fuels the cycle and makes your progress even faster. This shift is also just so liberating. Before, you might have stressed out over every little purchase, like the price of a coffee. But once you have a solid financial foundation, you realize that agonizing over those tiny decisions is a total waste of energy. Your brain is finally free to focus on the big wins, optimizing your housing, maximizing your income, and really dialing in your investment strategy. But listen, this is exactly where so many people mess up. After all that grinding and discipline, it's so tempting to fall into a really common trap.
let's talk about how to handle this newfound wealth and avoid the #1 mistake people make.
Okay, this is probably the most important mindset shift of all. You have to resist the urge to see this money as a reward. It is not a bonus that you should immediately spend on a fancy car or a big vacation. You have to see it for what it is, the foundation for your entire financial future. It's the seed that will grow into real, life-changing wealth, but only if you let it.
And this is the question that completely rewires your brain for wealth. Instead of just asking, can I afford the monthly payment, you start to understand something called opportunity cost. You begin to weigh every single major purchase against what that same chunk of money could become if you just invested it instead.
And this table just illustrates that trade-off perfectly. A new $30,000 car, it loses a massive chunk of its value the second you drive it off the lot. But that same $30,000, if you invested it instead, well, that could grow to over $200,000 in 20 years. All of a sudden, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice anymore, does it? It feels like a brilliant strategic choice that's funding your future freedom.
And let's be really clear here. The goal isn't to deprive yourself of everything you enjoy. It's not about becoming a miser who never has any fun. It's about becoming intentional. It's about aligning your spending with what you truly, deeply value. And when you understand the incredible power your money has to grow, it becomes so much easier to say no to the things that don't actually move you closer to your real goals.
So, in the end, it all boils down to this one simple question. Hitting that first $20,000 is about so much more than just money in a bank account. It is the critical first step toward taking back control. It's the difference between constantly reacting to whatever curveballs life throws at you and actively, intentionally designing the future that you truly want to live.